Hi everyone, this is Matt Curfman here with November 2016's edition of Matt's Minutes. Now that the dust has settled a little bit from the crazy election cycle, we thought we would kind of put a note out, let you know what our thoughts are, talk about a little bit of what happened, and then what we think about going into 2017 and winding down this year. Before I jump into that, our core value of the month here at Richmond Brothers is begin with gratitude. It's actually one of my favorite things that we do here is we have 12 core values, 10 core values rather, and we have highlighted one of those each month and we build it into everything that we do. So what am I grateful for today? I'm grateful to be a citizen and live in this country. I'm grateful for the beautiful weather. Today is Friday, mid-November, and it's going to be 70 degrees and sunny, so soak that up before winter comes. And we're all eternally grateful to have the opportunity to work for and serve all of you. So thank you for that. The elections, of course, were very, I'll say, chaotic. David and I were up late at night talking and watching the polls and watching the pre-markets. And at around 12:10 in the morning, the Dow Jones pre-markets was off, or negative 870 points in the middle of the night. So we were mentally getting prepared for how we were going to talk and respond to all of you in the morning and what was going on in the markets. Well then, as 2 and 3 hours went by 3 a.m. the futures started getting better. By the time the market opened, the market was flat, and by the end of the day, the market ended up, the Dow Jones ended up positive 257 points, which is an over 1,100 point turnaround in less than 24 hours. So shock and awe and shock and surprise, I guess, is how I would describe that. A little bit of relief, truthfully, from our end, so that as we try to work with all of you and help manage your portfolios, there's, believe it or not, been some stability through all of the last week or two of the elections. I guess the three big things I would talk about are the 3 R's. You have Republican, Republican, Republican as far as the White House, Senate, and then House of Representatives. And so last time we were in this environment was just a 2-year term of 2003 to 2005. And before that, you'd have to go back to 1953 when Eisenhower was president. Statistically, and when you look at what everyone's saying and what some journalists and politicians are expecting, is in this environment you typically would have less regulation. You typically are going to see something. There's been a lot of talk about healthcare reform, and whether that means changing, repealing, altering the Affordable Care Act, or as some call it, Obamacare. There's been a lot of talk about changes in the tax code, hopefully a simplification of the tax code, but generally we would expect to see lower taxes both personally and corporately in a Republican-controlled government. And then there's been a lot of talk about increase in defense spending as well. So those are just some of the highlights that we would expect to see. One of the things by having Republicans in control, and I said less regulation, that's generally seen as a good thing. If any of you are watching and have, for example, biotech stocks in your portfolio, from the day of election and then up until midday today while I'm recording this on Friday, the Nasdaq Biotech Index, which is representative of a lot of biotech stocks, has actually bounced about 15% from the day before. So there's a little bit of a relief rally, if you will, coming, and that's not a bad thing when you look selfishly at some of the allocations we have in your portfolios. So we'll see this environment, I think, persist with the Republican control for, get through the first 2 years until midterm elections. Generally speaking, I think there's a better likelihood than not that we have kind of our year-end Santa Claus rally, just with consumer spending and everything coming up on the holidays. And so for now, I'll just kind of leave it at that. We'll continue to be in touch. If anyone has questions about the Richmond Brothers income solution that we've discussed this year, feel free to call our office. Sally can set an appointment with myself, David, John, or Dan, and we're happy to dive into that as well. Have a wonderful rest of your November. For those of you that will be celebrating and getting together with family or friends for Thanksgiving, we wish you lots of love and joy, and we always appreciate having the opportunity to serve you. Thank you so much for your time, and make it a great day.